Welcome back, everyone. You're getting the boring background, at least until we transition scenes so that I can do the next part. And there's a few things to talk about this week. I'm going to try and get through a number of them. Keep this as short as possible because they are very lengthy topics if you really want to get into them. And what I want to talk about is, well, we have a winner. Shout out to SWU for taking down Minneapolis. And in pretty spectacular fashion, there were a variety of things that came up as a result of that particular event. And we're going to be talking about at least two of them, and then one that's tangentially related that's really more general event. So the first thing is well, SWU got scooped into the finals by his teammate Alex, and the short version is, who cares? I legitimately don't. I don't think it makes any meaningful difference. The only reason I'm even bringing this up is because Reddit's going to be apoplectic over this. They're going to go bananas, and they're going to completely lose their minds over these things because they don't understand or care. And this is not just, oh, well, I've been around card games for so long that I accept a bad thing. I think it is healthy to question things. And I don't have a problem if people are like, well, that feels sketchy. Why is that allowed? And then you think about it for more than half a second. You go, yeah, it's fine. There's nothing malicious or anything like that about it. So bottom line is, I don't care. And I don't think anybody else should either. If people really want to hear a longer tirade about it, let me know and I'll do another video. Second thing that came up is there was some issue with the second place finisher. It was found in the finals, or pointed out in the finals, and it definitely occurred in the semis as well, if you're paying attention. And that is, they're playing CAD, they're running Java, set one Java, you play Java, and then you're supposed to shuffle the cards and put them on the bottom, and they were quite clearly stacking them. I don't know this player. I legitimately think this was a mistake. Based on no other information. But once it was pointed out, it's like, all right, we fix it and we move on with our lives. I will say it feels, when I was talking about this offline, it feels weird that we have a variety of events that seem to be consistently marred with something, where it's not necessarily somebody's cheating or there's some other controversy. It's just, it's like there's something. We can't get through an event without something. Now, for an event this large, there's always going to be something. It's just unfortunate that it was on stream and it was in the finals and it was this and it was that, like all these things compounding. The reality is, if you play these games, they are complex, they are difficult, and we're asking players to maintain an extreme level of mental acuity for an elongated period of time. People are going to make mistakes. It's entirely possible, because I know that I've read cards and I'm like, that's what that card does. And then my opponent plays it and they beat me because it does something different. Because I swore I would have bet anything that it does this. And then it turns out, no, that's literally not what the card does. We've all made those kind of mistakes, and I think it happens. It would be nice if they didn't exist and they didn't happen. That's one of my pushes for digital clients all the time, but I guess we can't have everything. So the reason we're switching scenes here is so that we can take a look at this event. So this is over on Melee. It is regional. And you can see that, first of all, Melee once again sucks. We're having all kinds of issues with the decks not properly populating, records not properly populating. I don't even know if these people are actually the 5th through 8th place finishers. Like this Grand Admiral Thrawn is showing up here in 9th, which it absolutely was not, because I remember looking at it yesterday and going, oh, that I'm pretty sure that's Yoda Killer, who's now down here at 15th for some reason. Melee just sucks. And this is something that, as compared to before where I said, look, mistakes happen. Yes, mistakes happen here, and, you know, it doesn't matter. But why is the person who was in the top 8, I watched their game in the top 8 in 12th. This is something that could be fixed outside, has been fixed, like it already exists. I don't get it. It annoys the crap out of me. But what I wanted to actually call attention to is this, and I'm going to try and wrap it up quickly. I think people, and this Melee's fuckery aside, this is going to cause a problem. when people go to assess events, you really need to pay attention to what you are assessing and how you are assessing. Because I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, well, Kira won the event. Kira is the best deck. Well, is it? Or is it that Wu is just a monster at this game? Don't get me wrong. Kira's a good deck. If you show up with Kira, it is respectable. Wu has also been playing Kira for 3 sets now and is an incredible player. Is CAD the second best deck? Is only the top 8 what we care about? Personally, I think you always want to look at who bubbled. And there weren't a ton of people that bubbled out that like truly bubbled. Like there was one person, Yoda Killer, I think, who had the same record as Chrono, who got in, or whoever was at 8th. I don't think Chrono was an 8th. But anyway, point is that you want to look at least the top 16, top 32. I honestly went all the way out to top 100 just to see what other things were showing up. Because a lot of these players were probably one decision, one play, one matchup, one coin toss away from possibly top 8ing or having a significantly improved finish. And you could carry that out all the way down, but you got to have a breaking point somewhere. The second thing is, I think people need to be able to group information better. And this is not a skill that it's just, oh yeah, we'll just do it better. If you go to SWU Competitive Hub, and you look at this and you look at the tournament results or the deck list or the meta, any of these tabs here, try and pull one of them up. It's very slow today. You can look at these numbers and evaluate it, but there's a lot of these. Remember, a lot of this is getting filled out by PQ results and like this random Akbar win. I had somebody in one of the various chats, shout out to all the streamers. It was late night. It was Sea Raptor and it was McClunky. Great job by all of them. Each of them, in one of them rather, somebody was like, oh, well, Vader Yellow is not a meta deck. And I'm like, no, it's been a meta deck for a long time. Yes, it hasn't had a ton of wins here, but it is absolutely placing in top 8s. Now, the follow-up question is, how do you evaluate a top 8 from a random, well, I mean, it has 3 wins here, but this is also a week later or a weekend later. How do you evaluate and judge? Because this is biased, but I think it's also true that a U.S. Northeast PQ is worth way more than PQs in other places because of Wu shows up to these, Alex shows up to these, McClunky guys show up to these, Topper guys show up to these, the Bothan guys show up to these. Like every big name is there. And I think you need to look at some of this holistically, and sometimes you need to drill down, and it is a science that I can't really explain in what I was intended to be 5 minutes is now going on 8. You need to be careful with your assessments and try and build trends in your mind. And some of it is going to be understanding the relationship, generally speaking, of like, well, aggro should perform well into this. Is that true? Is this a good meta call? Is this a bad meta call? You're going to have outliers. You're going to have noise. I mean, George got the Vader showcase back at Richmond. That doesn't mean Vader is, and he was poised to potentially top 8. Does that mean Vader's a good call? Probably not. It just so happens that George is great. And you need to account for all these factors. And I think a lot of people don't do that. They just go, oh my God, well, this has to be good. It did so well. There are other factors. It could be the meta call. It could be the player. It could just be they went on a hot streak. It could be a variety of factors, or it could legitimately be the thing. And this is a much more complex topic, but it just kind of, I saw a lot of comments, not just the Vader one, but a lot of comments over this weekend that people aren't really, and I'm not saying I'm doing it perfectly either, because I'm prone to mistakes. Everybody is. But I think that people aren't properly thinking about things in the capacity that they are capable of to improve their gameplay. But I'm curious what other people's thoughts are. I know I started out with 2 somewhat negative things, and this was really what I wanted to talk about, but I feel like I can't not say something. But that's going to do it for this time. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.